Your Name is a 2016 animated film by director Makoto Shinkai that captured the hearts of audiences worldwide, telling the story of two high school students, Taki and Mitsuha, who magically discover they are swapping each other's bodies without ever having met. In this video, we'll explore how the film writes the themes of romantic longing, as seen in a pivotal scene toward the end of the story. Per usual, there will be spoilers to the story of Your Name, so I recommend checking it out before proceeding further. As a general story overview, the film follows Taki and Mitsuha, who start to swap bodies one day. Taki lives in Tokyo while Mitsuha lives in a smaller countryside town called Itomori. When the story begins, they've never met, but as they experience each other's lives, they grow a deeper, soulful connection that shapes their paths. Later, when Taki goes to Itomori to find Mitsuha, he discovers that the town was decimated by a comet 3 years prior to his arrival. He realizes that he and Mitsuha were from different timelines. Through a series of circumstances, Taki aims to find a way to contact Mitsuha and help her warn others in her town back in time before the comet hits. In the scene we'll explore, Taki and Mitsuha see each other for the first time at a mountain summit when twilight falls. The scene is powerful because the film has set up so much dramatic tension prior to the scene, and that both characters have longed to meet each other. In an earlier scene, we saw Mitsuha travel from Itomori to Tokyo to find Taki, but at that part of the timeline, he didn't know her since the body switching had not happened yet. Mitsuha does run into Taki on a subway train, and there's a fateful moment when he grasps her ribbon. In the current scene at the mountaintop, Taki and Mitsuha are initially in each other's bodies and not able to see each other before twilight. But when twilight falls, they return to their own bodies and can see each other. Both Taki and Mitsuha are speechless at first when they see each other for the first time. It's cathartic for both of them, and it's a relief. They've talked to each other by leaving messages on their phones, and they've seen intimate details of each other's lives. So here, both characters are finally meeting the person they've come to know so well over the span of their swapping bodies. In the beats of their conversation, there are humorous moments when Mitsuha realizes how Taki is able to connect with her timeline, as well as some of the physically embarrassing moments that he caused when he was in her body. There's also a tender moment when Mitsuha recognizes her ribbon on Taki's wrist, and he tells her that he kept it all these years and now wants to return it to her. When Mitsuha puts the ribbon around her hair and asks Taki how it looks, he struggles to give her a full compliment, which sparks her temporary outrage. But she breaks into laughter, causing him to join along. It's a natural moment for these two young lovers to finally have these precious shared moments face to face. On an emotional level, it's almost as if every scene before this one was designed to build up to this first meeting between Taki and Mitsuha. As an audience, we've wanted to see them connect, and now we're living it with them, one moment at a time. And time is precious, according to the storyline. Taki moves to remind Mitsuha that she still needs to warn her town of the impending comet. She agrees, and then Taki suggests they write each other's names on their hands to not forget each other. This moment is especially poignant because Taki writes on Mitsuha's hands first, but we don't see his actual handwriting. When Mitsuha starts to write on his hand, twilight ends, and the pen drops to the ground to Taki's disbelief. While he tries to remember Mitsuha's name, it's only moments later that his memory of her starts to fade, and we are emotionally torn by what's happening to him. We see in the next scene that Mitsuha is racing toward her town to warn the others about the comet, and she too is trying to remember Taki's name. Later on, it's revealed that what Taki wrote on Mitsuha's hand is the words, "I love you," instead of his name. This powerful scene ultimately sets up the ending of the film, where after 5 years apart, we learn that Mitsuha and her townsfolk survived the comet hit. Taki, now older, is making his way in Tokyo, pursuing his career, but something deep down inside is missing. Only toward the end of the film does he see a young woman who reminds him of someone from a while ago. This is Mitsuha, of course. When Taki and Mitsuha race to find each other and pass each other on a staircase, it's a wonderful moment when they strike up a conversation and then ask each other, "What is your name?" So overall, the film, Your Name, soars on how it builds up the anticipation of the two main characters eventually meeting through creating a tone and atmosphere of romantic longing. We, as the audience, become invested in Taki and Mitsuha as likable protagonists, and we want to see them get together. In the scene on the mountaintop, we feel the same rush of emotions that both characters are experiencing as time slowly slips away for them.